Hi, my name is Marwane Soumer. I'm French and I graduated at the Design Academy Eindhoven in the Man and Activity Department in 2020. Man is a project that tries to emancipate itself from all the conventions. So it is a collection of objects made out of copper, porcelain, blown glass, and manganese. Their function is basically up to the user. They are water containers. Then it's up to you to do whatever you want with that, as the essence of this project is to free ourselves from all the conventions. I tried to free myself while creating those objects, and I would love that people free themselves while using it. Maybe I thought about an object to drink for this one, for instance, but you may think it's better to use it in another way, and I'm perfectly fine with that. There is no proper functions and no proper shapes that follows it. It's up to you. As most of the project starts with a fascination, this one started with a frustration. What I mean by that is that I've always felt very locked in reality in the design context, in a way that I always felt like I had to follow conventions, shape conventions and function conventions, with this big sentence that says form follows function. I actually completely disagree with that. I think form follows anatomy, and anatomy creates function. So basically what I try to do is to emancipate from design and shape conventions, but also from cultural conventions. All the objects that we are surrounded with are respecting or following the principle of individuation. By this I mean that all the objects go back to a specific function in their creation, and we all have in our minds what is the shape of a wine glass, right? But if I ask you to imagine a wine glass which doesn't look like a wine glass, we will probably have difficulties to see what I mean. So the best example I can take is the cutleries in the Occidental world and in the Asian world. We use in Europe mostly forks and knives, and in Asia it's mostly chopsticks. The function is the same, but the shape is completely different. That perfectly shows that there is no right shape to answer a function. There is only different cultures and different histories. So I wanted to, as I said before, emancipate from all of that and go back to the beginning in a way, go back to the essence of what a shape is. And I tried to shape my objects in the most instinctive way. So playing around with clay, modeling it in a very, how to say that, primitive almost way, like if it was the first time I was touching clay. And then I arrived to certain shapes that I tried to interpretate and let people, the same way as I used instinctively my hands to make and create those shapes, let them use it in a very instinctive way too. In the video on my back, you can see that people were struggling at the beginning to use that. But it's not because my objects are not functional. It's because, as I said before, with the chopsticks and the forks and knives, we are not culturally ready for that. We all remember, in the Occidental way, the first time we had to use chopsticks, it felt a bit like weird and it felt not natural. But it is indeed very natural, and everything can be natural. This is a bit what I want to show with this project. So it's a bit of a statement that comes in opposition with forms follows function. Form doesn't follow function. Form follows hence anatomy, and the function is created by the user. I would say that the biggest challenge for me is indeed in my concepts. It was to free myself from all those rules in design, and to try not to fall in these rules again in a way that we've been trained at Design Academy, but also in other design schools, to kind of follow those rules. And so my biggest challenge was to not free myself from those rules, but to free myself from myself. And I would say this was, in addition with the COVID-19 context, the biggest challenge. paradoxically, this COVID-19 situation and the political decisions that goes with it brought some positive things. In a way that as students we're used to be in a small bubble, even more at the Design Academy, and we stay in the workshop. This was for us the occasion to collaborate and work with other professionals and start to work as real designers in a way. For instance, working with glass blowers or metal builders was a great opportunity, and I'm not sure that I would have done that if there wasn't the COVID-19 situation in a way. So there is always a bit of positive in the negative, and this is, I would say, this was an opportunity for us to have a professional formation in Accelerate. In 5 years, I hope, well, the whole context changed now in a way that I'm not sure that we have to wait till it will get back to normal. I think this is our norm now, and this context of COVID-19 and all the rules that comes with it became our norm. So in 5 years, I would say that I started a collaboration with a friend of mine, which his name is Lucas Zito. He's also exhibited at Kazerne. And we started a company which is named Studio Recré. And in 5 years, I hope that this studio will become our full-part job, and that it will enable us to, again, free ourselves, because this was the whole point of creating this studio, is to free ourselves from everything. It is named Recré, so recreation in French. And yeah, our point is to play around and to start really not seeing design as a work or a job, but seeing it as an opportunity to express ourselves.